Ryan Garcia called out Gervonta Davis, Manny Pacquiao, and Devin Haney for promotional use only. He didn't intend to have any of those fights, believes Devin Haney. In his latest interview, we're going to talk about that. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego in the back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Drop a like in the comment section. If you're new, if this is your first time hearing my voice, hit the subscribe button. I drop videos daily. If you like boxing news, updates, breakdowns of fights before and after the fight, things like that, live streams, you're entertained by combat sports, hit the like button. We working. Now, Devin Haney did a recent interview, and I want to quote him and give my thoughts on what Devin Haney had to say to DAZN's boxing show. Quote, "Me and my team knew that Ryan Garcia didn't really want to fight me. He didn't really want to fight Tank Davis. He didn't really want to fight Manny Pacquiao. It was all for promotion. Ryan Garcia is ducking me. Why fight for another mandatory when you could be fighting for a world title?" Devin Haney continues and says, "We can just go by who accomplished more." And that was in talks of Javier Fortuna and Jorge Linares, their respective foes in their next fight. Javier Fortuna hasn't accomplished more. Jorge Linares is a 4-time world champion. Javier Fortuna is a 1-time or whatever the case may be. Jorge Linares has been in bigger fights and won bigger fights. I think Jorge Linares is the better fighter. I'm very happy to have someone with a name like Linares and someone with a name some fans feel that he could win the fight. It feels good to go in there with a little bit of butterflies and a chip on my shoulder with something to prove and something to show the world." And he says that obviously for his upcoming fight with Jorge Linares, May 29th. Devin Haney closes by saying that he doesn't care if he's the boogeyman and avoided. He says, no, because the boxing fans will know I'm one of the best in the world and they'll value that. So he says, if other fighters don't want to fight me, then the fans will know it. End quote. Listen, Devin Haney brings up a very strong point. Your boy Ego has brought up the same point. The WBC was public that the winner of Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell would be the mandatory for Devin Haney. This is what they said. It was well documented, well publicized. Everybody knew it. It was for a version of the WBC belt. There's 3 in the lightweight division, which is ridiculous, but that is the case. Ryan Garcia had a gutsy performance. He got dropped early, showed a lot of heart, fought off instinct, whatever the case may be, and he came back to stop Luke Campbell with a nasty body shot, so you got to give Ryan credit for that, digging down deep and getting that done. However, Devin Haney makes a strong point. Your boy Ego made a strong point when I said it as well, in terms of this upcoming fight, Ryan Garcia, Javier Fortuna, is a dangerous fight. In my opinion, I think it's a dangerous fight for Ryan. However, so is Devin Haney. And why would you go into a title eliminator fight when you can eliminate the title eliminator and go straight into a title fight? So that doesn't really make sense to me. It's like a football team having a bye week and then they play for a slot in the playoffs that they already have. Does that make sense? For all my football fans, shout out to the NFL. So if you guys know football, when someone has a bye week, that usually is because they've been doing good and their record indicates that they get to take a break. So they don't have to play for that particular week. So again, if you play for, let's say the Bucks, you're Tom Brady or something, and you had a great season and you got the best record in the league, then you have a bye week, you've already secured your spot in the playoff. So why would you bypass your bye week and play the Buccaneers versus the Vikings or whatever, right? When you guys could just be resting up and then going to the next seed of the playoffs. To me, that doesn't make sense. And that's pretty close. I'm the king of analogies. That's pretty close to what Ryan is doing. He's taking a difficult fight against a guy who's been stopped before, Javier Fortuna. Even though he's a tough fighter, he's hit or miss with his performances at times. He's been stopped before by Jason Sosa in China, and he also, you know, fell out of the ring. It was kind of weird. He fell out of the ring. I was at that fight. That was on the Errol Spence Ocampo card. So I was in Texas for that, and it was just a weird situation. He was fighting Granados. I was really looking forward to the fight, and he kind of fell out of the ring. So it doesn't make sense. If Ryan really wanted to fight Devin Haney, you know, he could make that shake, in my opinion. But it's clear either Ryan or Golden Boy or both or whoever you want to blame, if someone on Ryan's team doesn't prefer that. And De La Hoya's played games before in the media where someone asked about Ryan fighting Devin Haney, and he's like, who? Devin? Who is that? And he tried to play like he didn't know Devin Haney, you know? So it is what it is. Devin Haney has called himself the boogeyman for quite some time, and nobody has shut him up. And nobody has said, hey, you ain't the boogeyman. Here's why. I'll fight you, you know? And then a lot of people, Bob Arum, Teofimo, Ryan Garcia, they said, oh, we're not impressed by you. That's usually what you hear for black fighters that are skillful and good. You know, they're runners, or, you know, you don't sell enough, or you got to build your profile. You know, you hear people turn into promoters and often offer up a bunch of, like, a gauntlet, an obstacle course of what you need to do. Meanwhile, you've seen far lesser people get a shot. Ryan Garcia fought a guy named Jose Lopez, and this is off the top of my head. I just know my boxing. So when he was fighting Jose Lopez, if you go to his box rec, you'll find out that Jose Lopez was coming off of a stoppage loss. His last fight before Ryan Garcia, which he got stopped by Ryan Garcia, was a stoppage loss. So, you know, when fighters play that game, you know, we know what it is, because if you could fight a guy coming directly off a stoppage loss, then there's nothing you could say to minimize or make it look like a known commodity and respected up-and-coming name like Devin Haney is not on your level, especially when you guys have a history in the AMs and stuff like that, and he beat you and you beat him. You know what I mean? So, again, if you could fight a guy coming off a loss, and Avery Sparrow was a scheduled fight before the cops came looking for him or whatever, you know what I mean? If you could fight guys like that, then Devin Haney is, in the minds of many, definitely rated and showing more promise than a lot of these opponents. So it just doesn't make sense when people do this. You often see it with certain fighters, even Canelo, Ryan's big brother. People say Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade, they don't deserve it. They got to do this. They got to fight each other first to secure a spot. But Rocky Fielding didn't have to fight nobody else. He didn't have to fight against Caleb Smith in a rematch and beat him. He didn't have to do anything. He just got the Canelo fight. Same thing with Avni Yildirim. He was coming off a 2-year layoff and a loss. So these are the politics that are in boxing. It's the ugly side of boxing, but it is what it is. I agree with Devin Haney. It really doesn't make sense for Ryan Garcia to do a mandatory eliminator or whatever when he was already the mandatory by beating Luke Campbell. This is just a way to extend it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan wins and beats Fortuna and they franchise him or something, because that's the way boxing has seemingly went, or create a new position, you know, the Imperial champ, you know, and then make Ryan Garcia the WBC Empress Imperial champ, or, you know what I mean, whatever name they come up with, and further extend a fight that fans like myself would want to see. So again, the ugly side of boxing. Click my link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. Let me know how I did in this video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TUBEBUDDY. I've used TUBEBUDDY for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TUBEBUDDY and level up your channel faster. We working.